Hey guys, Adam here, the owner of DirectionTrader.com. Let's do today's mid-morning looking forward video. It's Wednesday, May 28th, and it's right about 9:30 here on the West Coast, so about 11:30 Central. Let's talk about some of these markets, where they've been, and where we see them going from here, or possibly going from here. I got up the Nasdaq here. Let's actually do a quick here check. We had this break. We had this wedge forming on the Nasdaq over the last couple months here, and we finally broke out of that. And I had somebody ask me where it could run to and where we could see this thing stop today. So I basically just said, hey, just measure the previous low to the high, the first anchor, the first leg of this wedge. Just measure that anchor, and then you simply just move that without. If you do a drawing, you can just move that drawing to the breakout anchor, and that is a high probability chance of where this market could run to. And as you see here, just based on this drawing that I have put in here, the legs are virtually identical to where they are right now. So basically, you take the original leg of this wedge that is forming, the distance of this wedge, and whatever leg breaks out, and take the distance of the original anchor leg, push it over to the breakout leg, and that should be a very close approximate of where the market should turn. Now, it kind of works out really well in this certain example here, is because we have the previous high that comes across here at the exact same level that this breakout is supposed to stem to. So for us to get a little bit of a pause today or tomorrow in this Nasdaq market is very, very typical. We've got a nice little push to the upside, nice resistance here. So I'm very curious what type of pullback we're going to get here. There's three different types of pullbacks that I look at. After you get these big thrusts in one way or another, we're either looking for larger pullbacks, we're looking for the market to kind of consolidate and chop sideways, or we're looking for this a little bit of a continuation type of chop. These are the three that I would find the most common. The original, if we get a nice big healthy pullback this following day, that could lead to further rollover. But what you see is we're not getting that right now on the Nasdaq. We're actually getting a little bit of a pause. So I'm going to go and look at some of the other stock index futures and maybe piece together a little bit of an idea of what we could have come tomorrow. You see the Nasdaq is holding fairly strong up here, holding pretty decently up here. We have the S&P, virtually the same pattern. You got a nice thrust to the upside and then just kind of holding sideways at a doji. Let's look at the Dow. Dow is having a little bit more of a pullback, isn't it? The Dow is recently pulled back. Now this bar used to look more like a doji, but we've recently had a little bit of a drop in it over the last few minutes here. So it has formed a little bit more of a red candle, but we're at resistance, well above the most recent support here. And then let's look at the Russell. The Russell's absolutely had a bigger pullback. So the Russell's actually been the one that's held these markets down today. The Russell, over the last few months, has been the leader in the market. Whether it be the thrust to the upside or a thrust to the downside, the Russell tends to really be the one that's dragging these things around. Something I've been marking up here every day in the live trading room are these levels here, the 55s, the 35s, and the 15s. These are them levels that I'm talking about. The 15s, the 35s, and the 55s. We've been using these levels every day in the room. So getting above the 35, we've been looking for long opportunities. Down below the 35, we're going to start looking for shorts down towards these 15s. So that's the way it's going to be. That's the way I'm going to continue to trade this. As you see right now, we're kind of trading in this sideways fashion. I'm curious, if we get a drop in the Russell over the next 2 to 3 hours, I can see the Russell pulling the other three stock index futures down with it. If we get a pop into the close with the Russell, I can see further upside opportunity with the stock index futures moving forward into tomorrow. So that's some handy information to kind of take a look at. Now, you guys knows how wacky these markets have been. As I pull up the bonds now, it's not going to make a lot of sense. The bonds is having a monster day today. A big thrust to the upside today. I'm very curious if the bonds are going to push up, test the resistance, and then roll back over and finally have that double top that we haven't been able to put in yet, or if they're going to continue pushing higher. If they're going to continue pushing higher, we're still going to look for them stock index futures to possibly start to roll over in the short future. So, kind of going back to what I just talked about, the Russell is going to be the one I'm going to focus on. If we're able to get a push higher today into the close, look for further upside opportunity with the stock index futures moving forward. If we get a pullback into the close with the Russell, I'm going to look for it to drag the other three back down with it, and moving forward we're going to have a little bit of a pullback on these stock index futures. And what I mean by a pullback is something to retest the faster period moving average, the 8 period moving average. Test that 8 period moving average on all these instruments. As you see, they have some room to pull back and retest that 8 period moving average as we go through the different instruments here. Have them pull back, test that 8 period, and see if they can get a bounce off that as well. So moving forward today, I'm going to go ahead and continue to focus on that Russell, see how it's going to close going into the end of the session today. And if it pulls back, I'm probably going to be looking for more of a pullback, more of selling tomorrow in the day trading session. And if we get a pop into the close, I'm probably going to look a little bit to the long side come tomorrow, meaning that I'm going to look for a breakout above today's highs in tomorrow's trading activity and look for taking long side opportunities if that can happen. So I hope this helps out, guys. I hope these videos are good, and I hope you guys can get some value out of these. But if you have any question, you can always email me. It's adam@directiontrader.com. If not, thanks for watching, and I will see you in tomorrow's video. Have a good afternoon.